right. Good afternoon, everybody. Just gonna go ahead and light some incense. It's nice to have, even if it's like a minor ritual before you start meditating. You know, just scientific studies have shown that doing rituals before you do an activity kind of help create a feedback loop in your mind. So, like, if you light a stick of incense before you meditate every time, when you light a stick of incense, your brain's going to be like, all right, it's going to be time to meditate, and it can actually help bring you into that mindset. But it doesn't have to be incense, it could be anything. But, some type of little ritual always at the beginning is good. All right. So welcome, everybody. Whoa. Let me just fix this lighting. Better. Okay. So good afternoon, and welcome to live meditation with me, Jeremy. Thinking about going by the name Jeremy McMindfulness. I don't know. Might be the name of my brand. Not sure yet, but it's one that I'm brainstorming right now. So welcome to the channel, and again, if you like the content here, please subscribe and like the videos. Subscribe to the channel and like the videos. Also, if you're interested in deepening your practice and want to do a one-on-one session, I am offering that. We can set up a time to do a 1-hour session, video session. I'm charging $50 an hour to do that, but if that's too much for you, we can negotiate, and you can just reach out and let me know what you can offer. Happy to talk about that and negotiate. Oh, Jeremy approves of my name. Thanks, Jeremy. So today, well, for those of you who don't know, I used to work at the Rubin Museum of Art, and the Rubin Museum of Art is a museum of Himalayan art, so mostly art from places like Tibet and Bhutan, Nepal and India, China and Mongolia, and mostly Buddhist artwork. So I have a lot of knowledge and experience talking about symbols within Buddhism, and specifically how these symbols can help relate us to this practice. So I figured I'd dive in a little bit before we jump into the meditation, that I'd start talking about a symbol, and then we can meditate together. So I actually have symbols right here, 2 of them. We're going to talk about one mostly, but I'll just show you what it is. So, I'm going to get a little closer to the camera. This is what we call a Vajra. Now, a Vajra, the term is a Sanskrit word, and it gets translated to mean a lot of different things. Oftentimes, it gets translated to diamond, and you can see it kind of has a diamond-esque shape, I guess. It also gets translated into thunderbolt. Okay, maybe an artistic rendition of a thunderbolt. And then also, people often translate it into adamantine, so the hardest substance known to man, indestructible. And, but for all intents and purposes, when using a Vajra, you don't normally use it for meditation, but what you do use it for ritual. And basically, it's kind of like a magic wand, or kind of like a scepter, like a king's scepter. So like, imagine if you're a king and you want to issue a decree throughout the land. You take your scepter and sort of raise it in the air to make it official. It's kind of what a Vajra is like in a ritual context. You kind of use it to conduct your ceremony, conduct your ritual. Because generally the person that is conducting the ritual sort of takes on the role of being a king. And if you get really into studying Tantric Buddhism, you'll soon find out that Tantric Buddhism was actually the Buddhism for kings and was kind of in a way marketed to them. So they had a lot of this kind of royal and regal iconography built within the artwork. So that's what a Vajra is kind of on the practical level. Symbolically, what it generally represents is actually the idea of compassion, or what often gets translated as skillful means. And the thing about the word compassion in our Western cultural context is that we always view it as being like, as something. It's like loving and soft. We think of when we think of compassion, we often think of, a mother or something like that. But in the Buddhist context, compassion is actually, first of all, it's actually more associated with a male energy than a feminine energy. And secondly, it's supposed to be active. It's like compassion is an act, right? It's not something that's passive. To be compassionate, you have to do an action. And so that's really what this Vajra can represent, is the idea of compassionate action, or skillful means, as they like to put it in a traditional Buddhist context. So the Vajra, a really important symbol. It really represents that idea of compassionate action. And now when we're meditating, of course, meditating, a lot of people view it as very like passive activity, but I encourage you not to view it that way. It's an action. You're actively trying to focus your mind. You're actively trying to concentrate. And, and this is an action that I believe, as a Buddhist, you don't have to be a Buddhist to practice this, but just my motivation as a Buddhist to do this is that I'm not doing it for myself. I'm doing it for everybody else. I'm trying to make myself better so that I can serve other people better. And so I really think that this Vajra can represent that, kind of as your weapon, against suffering. That's what a Vajra is, basically a weapon against suffering. They actually have, in some old images of artwork, they have people holding, or gods holding large Vajras, and so there are suggestions that at one point, this idea was a weapon. This thing was a weapon. You couldn't really hurt anybody with this. So this one is a little small, but yeah, it's a really fascinating symbol, and I just really scratched the surface. There's so much more I could talk about when it comes to the Vajra, and I didn't even show its companion, the bell over there, which I'll talk about them together at some point to show how they work together and kind of the symbolic meanings of both of them. So yeah, Vajra, adamantine, thunderbolt, scepter, magic wand, all in one. Also an atomic bomb, but I'll talk about that another time. All right. Cool. So let's get our Vajra on. Let's be that compassionate action by meditating. So we're going to do what we normally do today. We'll start off with doing a body scan. I'll ring the bell twice to start. We'll do the body scan. Then we'll take a quick break. We'll do a 3 to 4 minute round of just focusing on the breath. And then take another break. And then another 3 to 4 minute round with no guidance. You want to take a comfortable seat. Feel free to sit cross-legged like I am. If that's hard for you, you can feel free to sit in a chair. Just make sure that your feet are planted on the ground firmly, would be my suggestion if you're sitting in a chair. You can meditate with your eyes open or closed. It's really up to you, whatever is more comfortable for you. And then just want to keep your back straight, but not strained. And this is kind of like, I always say that this is a good metaphor for our practice, is that we want to have, an awareness in our practice, but we don't want the awareness to be too rigid or too hard, just like our back. We want it to be straight, holding us up, but we don't want it to be strained. So here we go. So I'll ring the bell twice to begin, and we'll start with our body scan. Now we're going to move our attention to our feet. Just become aware of them. Maybe they're under your legs. Maybe they're on the floor. Maybe they're cold. Maybe they're warm. However your feet are feeling in this moment, just become aware of it. Notice that part of your body. Now we're going to move our attention to our seat, feeling the support. Notice how it holds you up. I'm aware of how this part of your body feels. Now we'll move our attention up to our belly. Just becoming aware of part of our body. Notice how your belly moves with your breath. There's no need to change anything about your belly. Just feel it. I'm aware of how it is. Now we'll move our attention up to our heart, base in the middle of our chest. Just feel that part of your body. Recognize that it's a part of you. Now we're going to move our attention to the back of the shoulders. You don't have to change anything about your shoulders. Just notice how they are in this moment. Now we're going to move our awareness to the back of the head. Being a part of our body we don't often. Now we're going to move our attention back down to our feet. Just noticing them in this moment. Now move our attention up to our seat. Feeling the support. Now move our attention up to our belly, noticing its movements. Now we'll move our attention up to our heart, feeling that space in the center of our chest. Next, we'll move our attention to our shoulders, noticing this part of our body. Now we'll move our attention to the back of the head. Just noticing how that part feels. Alright, now we'll move our attention back down to our feet. Now we'll move our attention up to our seat. Now we'll move our attention up to our belly. We'll move our attention up to our heart. Now we'll move our attention to the back of the shoulders. Now we will move our attention to the back of the head. Alright, in just a moment, I will ring the bell. ending our first round of meditation. All right, so now let's take a little break. Also, again, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and if there are any questions at the end, I'll be happy to answer them and talk to them. All right. So let's get going. Let's do another round. So this round we're going to focus on our breath. And so wherever the breath feels, wherever you feel the breath most strongly in your body, that's where you should put your attention. So generally people feel the breath either in their belly, their chest, or the tip of the nostrils. So again, wherever you feel the breath the strongest, move your attention there. And here, with this practice, we're not trying to change the breath at all. We're just focusing our attention on the breath. We're watching the breath. And if you notice that you're no longer watching the breath and you've been distracted, just gently move your attention back to the breath. Again and again and again. All right, let's do it. Now, we're going to gently move our attention to our breath. Wherever you feel the breath strongest in your... Just watch the breath. You don't have to change it. Notice how your natural breathing works. If a thought arises, get distracted. It's okay. Just notice that you've been distracted. Gently bring your attention back to your breath. Thought or feeling arises, swept away. Notice you've been distracted. Gently bring your attention back to the breath. If a thought from the past or plan from the future sweeps you away, it's truly okay. Just recognize that you've been distracted. Gently bring your attention back to the breath. Alright, in just a moment I will ring the bell once, ending our second round of meditation. Okay, it's about this time that my feet and legs start falling asleep, so I gotta stretch them out. Feel free to stretch out yourself. Okay, let's do it. One more round, about 3 to 4 minutes. This time, I won't provide any guiding, but we'll just focus on our breath again. So just, again, this whole exercise is just about watching your breath and noticing that when you're distracted. Once you've been distracted, just gently notice it and bring your awareness back to your breath without judgment. Don't beat yourself up about it, because it's going to happen. But yeah, just again, once you notice it, just bring your attention back to the breath. Okay? So here we go. One last time. Alright, in just a moment I will ring the bell 3 times, ending our last meditation session. Once you've heard the 3rd ring, I invite you to join me in a bow, dedicating all the merit that we've accrued from our practice today to the benefit of all sentient. Alright, so thank you all for practicing with me today. If you've joined me before, you know the drill. I'll do another one on Thursday at 5:30. It seems like a good time for people. So again, thank you for practicing. I sincerely mean that. I really do. And again, if you like the channel, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and again, if you want to do a personal one-on-one meditation, really deepen your practice, kind of help customize practice for you that you can do on your own during the days, yeah, just let me know. Shoot me an email. It should be down below in the comments or in the description of the video. So thanks again, and see you next time.